A German secret society known as the Thule Society had access to some of this knowledge. In addition, an elite part of the Thule Society known as the Verl had success.
สวัสดีค่ะนุ้ยนะคะก็มาทำซับไตเติลนะคะซับไตเติลอาจจะไม่ค่อยตรงเท่าไหร่นะคะที่บอกว่าสังคมโตนะคะโตเลสไซตี้ก็คือสังคมของคนพวกนาซีนะเขาจะมีสังคมอีลิทค่ะอันนี้ก็คือประวัติของความเป็นมาของกาแล็กซิกนะคะ
In addition, an elite part of the Thule Society known as the Verl had
ก็คือสังคมเต็มรูปแบบก็คือเตลมันเป็นภาษาเยอรมันเนาะเตลเนี่ยมีแยกออกไปอีกก็คือ world ก็คือก็แค่ฟังผ่านๆนะคะเพราะว่าอันนี้ก็คือคล้ายๆว่ามันเป็นความเป็นมาเนาะเขาไตเติ้ลมาเฉยๆ
had successfully made contact with an extraterrestrial group known as the Nordics. The key figure in contacting this alien group was Maria Ostrich and her inner circle of spiritual channelers.
มาเรียนะคะมาเรียก็คือนกกระจอกเทศนี่ไม่ใช่นะคะนามสกุลเขาออสเตรกหรืออะไรประมาณนี้ละค่ะแต่มันเสียงคล้ายๆครับนกกระจอกเทศไงมันก็เลยแปลแบบนี้นะคะแต่จริงๆแล้วเขาชื่อมาเรียนะคะคนนี้ก็สำคัญนะคะเกี่ยวข้องกับความเป็นมาของกาแล็กซิกเนาะที่มาช่วยที่เขาส่งมาช่วยกอบกู้โลกนะคะ
The Nordics claim to have come from the star system of Aldebaran. This group from Aldebaran began to share advanced knowledge with Maria and her inner circle of contactees regarding the engineering of anti-gravity aircraft during the late 1920s. When Hitler came to power, the Nazis had heard of such interplanetary affair being conducted by the Verl Society and had decided to hijack this alien tech for their own personal gain. Immediately, Hitler's top scientists figured out the physics behind this alien tech and began working on their own secret space program. By the late 1930s, the Nazis had already developed their own anti-gravity aircraft that became known as the Bell. This allowed the Nazis to travel to Antarctica to build out their secret space facility that would allow them to venture into space. When the Nazis got to outer space, they first landed on the moon and realized that it had already been occupied by all kinds of ETs who were shooting down these Nazis as these aliens were very territorial. Eventually, the Nazis partnered up and formed an alliance with a negative ET group known as the Draco Reptilians, who were the top dogs in space. This alliance with the Draco paved the way for the Nazis to establish their own base on the moon, and together with the Draco began developing the first secret space program that became known as the Dark Fleet. The Dark Fleet was given access to much of the advanced knowledge given to them by the Draco, who had been fighting a war against the Galactic Federation on a stellar and galactic level. Their collective goal was to rid our solar system from the watchful eye of the Federation, who had been monitoring things on Earth from their headquarters on planet Saturn. While Hitler lost the war in 1945 on the surface world on Earth, he was winning the war in space with the help of the Draco, during which time the Draco had also secretly contacted our world's most powerful family known as the Rothschilds to begin secret negotiations that led to the infiltration and transfer into the U.S. of top Nazi scientists through Project Paperclip. The infiltration by the House of Rothschilds, who had already absolute control of England through Winston Churchill, allowed for a secret takeover of America by the Draco through President Truman to begin developing the second secret space program that became known as the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. This group, along with the Dark Fleet, worked very closely under the Draco Empire. However, the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate was more about interplanetary business by establishing trade with all kinds of ETs, while the Dark Fleet was more about assisting the Draco in their war against the Federation and by helping the Draco maintain slavery in some of the already conquered solar systems. Eventually, the Galactic Federation also began secretly negotiating with certain key players in America and in Russia to begin the development of another secret space program that became a benevolent one and became known as our Interplanetary Police Force. This secret space program, known as Solar Warden, became instrumental in the space war against the Draco and the Dark Fleet. Solar Warden had been assisted by a benevolent ET group known as the Pleiadians through William Tompkins, an engineer that was capable of downloading the information that was given to him by the Pleiadians. Since the 1960s, Solar Warden had been assisted by the Galactic Federation in our solar system to defend not only our world but our entire solar system from these negative groups who have been trying to invade our world ever since. Unfortunately, on the surface world on Earth, the Draco had secretly taken over the UN and a major aspect of the US through the Illuminati families. The good news is that Solar Warden is being assisted what is known as a super federation comprised of millions of galaxies to end this war against the Dark Fleet, the interplanetary corporate conglomerate, the Illuminati families, and their Draco overlords to finally bring this interplanetary technology to the rest of our world. The good guys have already won the war in space as of 2015, and now they're getting ready to overthrow the last bastion of this Illuminati control of our planet through their financial tyranny.